Hello, this is the first video in a series of vlogs showing the construction of our houseboat. I'm going to start off showing a cardboard model that gives you an idea of what the boat will eventually look like, and then get into the actual construction of the boat. I hope you enjoy the series. This is a cardboard model of the boat. The boat will be a 32 feet long, 8 foot 6 wide, and about 12 foot 6 high riding on the trailer, which is about the same height as the average fifth wheel. It will be legal to trailer, so we can take it anywhere we want to go, and that'll open up lots of cruising options. The boat will have a V-hull, making it seaworthy, able to handle the waves nicely. Obviously, houseboats don't take the blue water like a cruiser will, but at the same time, it'll be much more capable than a pontoon boat would be. It won't be nearly as styling as a cruiser either, but it'll have a flybridge, nice deck. Obviously, the actual boat will have windows and doors and all those wonderful things. And there will be stairs up to the roof, so there'll be a sun deck area up top, driving from above or down inside when the weather's not so nice. The plan is to power it with a 250 horsepower V6 Mercruiser Sterndrive, and that hopefully will be plenty power to have a cruising speed of 20 miles an hour if we want to get there in a hurry, or we can cruise at houseboat speed if speed isn't a requirement. You know, if we're not in a hurry. That is a lot of plywood. There's a selection of various sizes, 3/8, half, 3/4, a little bit of quarter. The hull and superstructure, cabin, roof, the works is all going to be made from plywood and fiberglassed entirely on the exterior and everything below the waterline on the interior. Today I'm going to start working on the actual construction of the houseboat. Now, I really don't want to. I would rather be working on the trailer, but it's -10 outside, so I'm going to stay in here where it's warm. And I'm going to take this piece of 2x10 oak that's a rough sawn chunk of lumber I've had up in the garage for years, and I'm going to turn it into the stem of the boat, the piece that goes up the bow, and that'll be the first piece of our new boat. Just working away on getting the shape on this stem. I've got some measurements and marks, and then getting the curve of the bow, and yeah, it's moving along. And that is the stem of the boat. It goes right up at the bow. From that'll tie into the stringer down the keel and come up to the deck line up there. It's upside down. Got the bow ring drilled on the drill press, and should be a good solid nose on it, I hope. And there's the stem of the boat in its final position, orientation. It will tie into the keel stringer down at the bottom. Now, keel stringer continues the curvature of the nose almost 2 feet farther back before it flattens out at the bottom of the keel, and the deck will sit on top of that upper part of the stringer, or of the stem. And got the nose ring drilled in, did that on the drill press, so I got it nice and straight and everything. And yeah, so I guess that's a day's work done. First step on the houseboat. Going to be a while before another step, unless it doesn't warm up. Then I guess maybe I'll have to keep on doing some of this stuff. Well, I'm not sure how easy it is to understand what you're seeing here, but this is a framework I built to build the hull on upside down, so the stringers will lay on top of those crossways 2x4s. The stringers will run perpendicular to them, and then the sheeting and everything on the bottom side of the hull will be placed on top of the stringers, and the sides of the hull will hang down towards the floor. I had to build it up this high so I can still crawl underneath to get inside to do some fastening and lining up and whatever. So it's a framework of scrap lumber I had kicking around for everything other than the really important stuff up top. It's all brand new lumber and all diagonal braced and everything, so it'll be steady. And I got it perfectly flat by using a transit. So, and that little jig here, that these upper marks were for the lower horizontal boards here, and then these other marks were for up on top of these crossways ones. So I just take this off and move it to a new spot, line it up with the transit and get on those lines. And so this entire tabletop, if you want to call it, is perfectly flat and level to within a 1/16 inch side to side, end to end. It's measured diagonal to make it square, so I have a solid foundation to build the boat on. So I guess that's what they say: if you don't have a good foundation, everything from there on up will have its issues. So hopefully I have a good foundation here, and now I can build a boat. So just to be clear, everything you see right now is not part of the boat. It's just a framework to build the boat on, and the boat starts on top of everything that's there. It's essentially a really big workbench. Well, I'm actually in houseboat building mode, early stages. So I've set up a table on top of this support structure I've built, and I've got a couple of the stringers made. There are 2 layers of 3/4 inch plywood laminated together, glued and screwed. So I've got a little 4-inch one here that'll be the first stringer in from the outside, and it'll be 16 inches from the outside. And then there's the 8-inch one that'll be 32 inches from the outside. And then the next one to make is to get going together with these pieces here that'll make the keel. So that's my next step. So onwards we go. So we have all the stringers fastened to the support grid, keel down the middle there, and then reducing size to get the V out to the outer edge. And they're all lined up pretty, ready to take a boat attached to them, hull, whatever. And so the next step here is to install the transom. And so I've got a couple supports, whatever I could put together to get the right height. So now I need to go get Lisa to give me a hand. It's way more than a one-man job, and we'll see about getting the transom started. There we have the transom installed. You know, barely installed. It's hanging on the ends of the stringers. Lots more to go before it's, I guess, totally installed, but it's there. Now, carry on making it look more like a boat. Well, it's starting to look more like a boat. Still a long way to go, but getting a bit of the plywood sheeting on, transom, and yeah, just baby steps in the right direction. This angle gives a pretty good view of all the structural members and kind of the finished shape of the underside of the hull. You can see the stringers and a few gussets, kind of like blocking and floor joists to tie everything, stiffen them up, and a bit of the sheeting on at the aft end of the boat. Everyone that sees this says, there's a hole in your boat. That's where the tube for the bow thruster goes through. And yeah, so someday it'll actually be a boat. Hopefully someday it'll be a right side up boat. That'll be much more useful in this position. So keep on working. Things are moving along. We've got all the plywood on the underside of the hull up until where it gets into the curve for the bow. Can't do that till a whole lot of other things happen. Working right now on getting the strakes on the underside of the hull. Got a bunch down the one side, none installed yet on the other side. They're all cut and ready to go, but that'll be the next step, is get those ones on. And keeps getting a little closer to a boat. So the way this works, these guys are strakes just to help make the boat run in a straight line and not blow sideways as bad in the wind. And they have to be extended on up and onto the bow, but not until after it's made. And then this lower one at the chine, the side plywood for the hull will fasten on going up, down at this point, but up when the boat's right side up from here. So that gives us something to fasten at the chine from the sides onto the bottom of the hull. So it'll all come together soon enough. Maybe not soon enough, but it will come together.